What's up, fellow lords of gaming, and welcome back to the channel. So we're jumping in with some Black Desert Online updates, specifically taking a look at the Black Desert Festa event and breaking down the video there. I think the majority of players are going to want to jump right on into discussing the codes and the gifts that are going to be available for us for celebrating 10 years of Black Desert. So let's jump right in by taking a look at that code and going over to Venture Support and then redeem coupon code. Now the code that you are going to want to enter is grateful and then 10 years. So grateful 10 years in Black Desert Online. Use those codes, successfully redeem them. Items will be delivered to your mail after you redeem the coupon. So you can wait over here and wait to see those inside of here. And there we go, all of our web storage items. So what are we getting for those 10 years? Well, there's a whole lot, guys. So let's take a look at that really quickly. All right, over here, we've got the title of Friend. We've got Cron Stones times 10,000. Yes, our new main character, Wan Su with the W, giving us an additional 5,000 from what was promised by the lead developer. We're going to get some J's Hammers of Loyalty, the 10th anniversary travel kit, a Vice of Vox times 200, and an Vice of Vox times 250, along with your sub weapon exchange and weapon exchange coupon boxes, and then the Marnie Stone fuels. So those are really great rewards. On top of this, we're going to be receiving the Black Spirit Fairy appearance change coupon. So now, instead of seeing Tinkerbell run around with you, you can have your Black Spirit in your presence a little bit more. I wish it was kind of the upgraded Black Spirit where he just looks mean and vicious, but you know, it is what it is. Along with that, we're going to get the special gift prepared to support your future journey, the Primordial Hammer for your Sovereign and Awakening main and Awakening weapons, and then the Ancient Hammer. These are new hammers. This is going to be used for your Karzad accessories. So this is really good. And remember, that coupon code is going to be revealed after December 19th through the maintenance. So they asked us to bear with them, and you'll see that. Now, even more rewards, and probably the reward that's going to have everybody the most excited is the Selection Mythical Dream Horse box. Yeah, so everybody is going to be able to select their own Mythical Dream Horse to add your wings to your adventure December 24th Tuesday maintenance. So just remember, this is coming. It's part of the 10-year anniversary awards. Obviously the suggestion is that you choose Ardenaut, but you know, you may want something different. So but along with this, on January 16th we won't get the access to the guild mount, but we can fly around for 14 days with the Duskwing Dragon. There's no combat capabilities with this mount, but this is going to be a limited time 14-day trial to be able to fly around with that dragon mount. So we've been complaining about some of this stuff for almost a year. It's finally here. Next up, we're going to reminisce of all the seasons spent with adventures, over a decade of adventures. So starting December 20th through February 26th, the special login rewards are going to be available to you here. So you can see 150 of Vice of Vox, 160, 170, 180, and 190 stacks, along with some dim Origins of Hunger. You're also going to receive four winter outfit boxes: your spring outfit box, your winter outfit box, your summer outfit box, and then your fall outfit box, culminating with 2 mythical sensors and a J's Hammer of Loyalty. Can't really complain about that. So here goes what's inside the 10th anniversary box, the Never Ending Adventure box, so you can obtain J's Special Scroll times 10, which they mentioned inside the update. They're going to remove all the time on these items as well, so that's really good. And you can see here the rest of the items, but obviously the J Scroll is going to be the most it's a special one that you have. So if you missed out on any of these previous winter outfits, you'll have the chance to basically capture those with this new login reward. So the Primavera, the Academia, the Sugar Rush, the Wonderland, all of these are going to be available for you to basically unlock. So those are all the rewards that you can claim, and you can see here the Marnie's Fuel, the Anniversary Travel Kit, the Weapon Exchange. All of these items are available to you now. Now the other rewards will come later on, so make sure you go in and claim those. And remember, it's grateful 10 spelled out, in years. Now we've got a whole lot to jump into, guys, so let's get into it really quickly, because this is going to take probably a while. I'm going to try to pull up some of these items. Oh, excuse me about that. excuse me about that, guys. I've been watching my man Payne for my SLAs, which I do have a video coming out. Like I wanted to do a video almost like complimentary to his. But let's jump into this update here. So there's a whole lot to get to. It was jam-packed. So number one, let's start off with the daddy of them all, which they talked about, the new class Deadeye. So much to my anticipation, we did get a female class. I'm not exactly excited about it, but it is what it is. That's what we have. So we've got the new class, the Deadeye female. Now, be aware that she's basically coming in. They've taken painstaking attempts to basically make sure that her lore was accounted for inside the game. She's a Texas gunslinger. It's our first gunslinging class that we have in the game. She has ties to Marnie, and she's basically teleported into this realm. I'll do a separate video breaking down her skills, but if you want to, you can go check out the 25-30 mark for the class introduction, and then they go into about the 40-minute mark where we talk about some of her lore, and then we can look at later on, they did break down a number of her skills inside her. Essentially, the way she's going to play is like an ascension class. So if you remember the male archer, that's essentially what she looks like. And so that means that you're going to basically play with the 3 weapons. So there's no succession, there's no awakening. It's just basically an ascension type class. So you'll have access to a revolver, a shotgun, and a rocket launcher called Little Devil. So on the 17th and 18th of the month, they're going to release some lore videos for her. And then on December 24th, you'll have access to her globally. She'll be available in the global lab on December 20th. Her class abilities look pretty cool to me. They're centered mostly around creating distance and rapid movement and evasion with the character. Like I said, I'll break down some of her class stuff that we had in another video, but I think she's probably set to look like a really, really good class. I think a lot of players are hoping that we're going to get a male type class as well as an alternative to her, but we'll have to see. So next up, what are they talking about? The next thing that we got into was around 1:10 inside the video. This was probably the next important thing, and that was specifically upgrades to the seasonal server. Specifically, they kind of wrapped this around the Belenos update. So essentially now, when you complete the season server, you'll receive 3,000 Caphras stones from the season server. So this should make it really, really important for players to want to jump into those season servers. These upgrades are going to go live with the update for the new Deadeye class, so be aware of that. At the end of completing the server as well, you're going to have access to the essence of Ascent, which is going to be for your weapon and accessories. Basically, you're going to be able to upgrade your Tuvala gear to Hex, and then you'll be able to upgrade your Tuvala gear to Deck. Now, once you complete that Deck upgrade, you'll then be able to trade for a pin Black Star weapon. So essentially, they made the way easier for people to get towards the Black Star level and then make their way over to the Sovereign and Charizard accessories, which is a really good update overall. So because things in Black Desert can seem a little confusing, especially with path upgrading and stuff. Next up, at 1:14, we got information about the reduction to guaranteed Black Star and God Eye weapons. So essentially, that Ancient Anvil stack that we basically have, our pity system, is being reduced by nearly half for upgrade paths, which is really, really good because it makes it easier to get your pin Black Star or the God Eye weapons that you can then change in for your Sovereign weapons and your Charizard type accessories. So nice, good there. At 1:15, we ended up having a discussion about, I think Evil Do Us Harm will probably give you way better information on this than I can, but life skill mastery cap is being adjusted to 3,000. With that, we're also getting new life skill gear similar to the Charizard accessories called the Prion accessories. They're basically the same as Monos leveling, but they're different because they're like Charizard and they're listable to the central marketplace, which is a really big bone. Now, these are not like a replacement or a substitute for Monos accessories the way Charizard was a substitute for Deboreka. These are a tier above the Monos accessories. So the Prion success rate is about 8.5%, and you're going to need to exchange your Monos accessories for your Prion accessories. I like the little path that we have here that they're building out. It should make it a lot easier for players to get in and know where they're going and get to that end game. So the new Monos gear is also being added for other life skills: fishing, hunting and all the varieties of gear are now going to be added into the game. So you can see those here: fishing, hunting, alchemy. All of those are basically going to be added in with new monos accessories for those. Thank God for those. So next up, we did get more information at about the 120-minute mark. If you're into if you're into fishing, especially sailing, then we now have a Sailor Auto Fishing Carrack update. So basically, it's going to allow you to auto catch fish while sailing. This is going to be a real big boon because you're basically going to be able to assign workers to your boat to help improve things like speed, movement, and things like that, and then fishing as well inside there. So nice little update there. Around the 124 mark, we did get a new update as well, specifically about the sea crystals and the Ebonith Knoll crystal, which is going to be added. It's a little bit something inside there for you to basically, combine with the sea crystals, so that way you can help out the effects of the sea crystal. I guess they just wanted to make it a little bit more powerful. So that's that. Like I said, I think Evil Do Us No Harm will do a better job of breaking down those things specifically for you than I can. I don't do major life skilling like that, although, it's one of those things that you can do. It's fun, to be honest with you, if you're into those sorts of things. Now, around the 125 mark, we did get an update to the training update. So what they've essentially done for training is they're going to make the horse growth rate faster. So it's going to be about 25%. And instead of you having to take your horse back to the the stable in order to register any new horses, now you can just carry along an empty wagon and you're able to register about 4 horses in that time. Like I said, they're also having the growth level adjustment, and then they're adding in something which was a tease. They didn't really give a timetable for when it was coming, but we're getting a training simulator for the horses as well. So that should be nice as well overall inside the game. The training simulators can basically be used so that way you can see what skills and things and tiers you're probably going to be getting for your horse. Now, the thing I was really excited about, especially with the release of our 29th class, is the updates to the tagging system. So they made a couple of notes here. They're going to allow tagged characters to be in separate locations. So now you can travel separately with a nice little toggle, and you can just basically say, if you want to basically do this, all of your characters basically those 2 characters need to be in the same place. Now, for those of you who have been clamoring for having multiple tagged characters, they said that this is just something that they can't do at the moment. So the additional tagging options aren't going to be there, but having 2 characters basically to be able to be in 2 separate locations has some high benefits, in my opinion. Anyways, lot better tagging system there, in my opinion. So with the tagging, we then move at about a 131 mark inside the video, and you can see here the item copy costs to translate those items. There was originally about 450 Marnie fuel. That is being reduced to just 45 Marnie fuel, so nearly a tenth of the cost just to do those. This is going to be really, really good. I like it a lot. I'm really happy about this because it makes wanting to tag characters and remembering to do that even more, especially like we're almost 30 characters in at this point, so that's good. Now, they're also adding the ability for you to auto move items through the storage maids and in guild storage, which is phenomenal, because having access to as many storage maids as I have, one of those things that I do occasionally want to do is just auto move items, but you can't auto move items from storage maids at current. So that's going to be something that's really cool. Now, here you can see on the screen, they're specifically talking about the removal of time limits on things like the old moon scrolls, J's, and so forth like that. So no longer do you have to worry about those things at all. At about 135, we did get into a conversation about the continuous care being reduced as well. So if you have your fairy in the continuous care item, they're reducing that to 1 second. Now, the rest of the video, once we got into this portion, specifically dealt with looking at your PvP. So they're removing the guild missions, the old system from the game, so that way we could specifically look at characters in terms of how the missions were basically assigned and how they were begun, and tracking who started the missions and so forth like that. So that system is coming, is not in the works for some time. They're also making improvements to hiring workers from other location and being able to promote multiple workers at once. So there's specific chief complaint right now that they had going in with the game was that they want to make improvements to PvP. Now, this is an area I think a lot of players specifically are deeply engaged in having conversation about, because of the fact that we have games like Throne and Liberty out there where people want to feel like they're powerful enough to fight other characters and so forth, and gives them something to accelerate for other than PvE, which is something that the developers agree on. The original intent of Black Desert was to have this node conquest war type system and to kind of infuse the game with this need to basically get better, this need to understand the way characters work, this need to do those things, and they want to kind of bring those things back. So they plan on making adjustments to the guild tier system, and they want to make adjustments specifically to things like resistance. There was a conversation at the 150 mark, I believe it was, specifically about how resistances would work and how those would change. Essentially, they want to remove resistances specifically from PvE and let them remain in PvE, and they want to adjust the damage ratios so that way they're dependent on class type. So essentially there's like, you know, you basically have your melee, your tank, your range, and your magic type characters, and each of those classes would have a benefit over other class, so that way the damage ratios against those classes were going to be handled. They're looking at ways to change this, basically depending upon Succession and Awakening, to handle those differently as well. At 153, they specifically talked about the red battlefield, and overall they want to improve the rewards for PvP to make players feel like they should be engaged in that. So they want to introduce a matchmaking system, and they want to punish idle and disconnected players in the red battlefield. The Arena Solaire, they want to add in a function so that way you can replay your missions. So that way, I guess this is meant as a way for you to help understand, you know, how you were playing, things that you were wrong about, and you'll be able to view other players' videos as well. I like this system just because it's kind of cool, especially if you're in PvP and you're doing some content creation. It should really help content creators a whole lot. So we'll have to see where that works out. The node war and conquest war improvements they did talk about, they weren't significant enough, and I think to, you know, move the PvP players who are, you know, hopeful that some major improvements were coming, but they do plan on balancing and adjusting some gameplay right now. Now, I think the thing that most people got really excited about around the 2-minute mark, they did discuss what they had previously discussed maybe a year ago, and that was the Harbinger of Doom guild mount. So this is meant to be an honor reward for PvP, so they want to make the acquisition process really difficult. That is a guild mount in this regard, and it's going to have abilities inside PvP. I think that you should be standing by, if this is what you want to do, that your guild is going to need to be engaged in node and conquest war. They seem that they wanted to make a lot of the rewards tied to PvP, so the players were getting back into PvP and engaged and feeling like the game was accelerating at some point for that. So just think about that overall. Now, we skipped ahead because we took a little break to about the 2:19 mark, and we got here for them talking about the introduction of hardcore servers. So this is essentially a 2-hour daily limit. This is going to be launching in January. Basically, it's on a rotation: acquire gear, defeat monsters, start at a random location in a desert. No return to the hardcore server once you leave. Acquire survival points, kill other adventurers to gain their share of survival points, your durability in your gear. There's no repair on gear, essentially. It seems like a very good idea, almost like an extraction type thing, I feel, but we'll have to see how it plays out overall. I think overall, either way, though, having a hardcore server is something that players have been asking for a while, and this could be one of those things to basically give people some motivation to play the game outside of just a PvE environment and challenge themselves. So no complaint there. Around 2:25, we did get the update to the Ataraxian dungeon. So in the last stage of Act 1, we are going to have access to Orzeka, I think it was called, Orzekia or Azeka, and basically get to battle the Orze of the Thornwood. So if you go to about 2:27, you'll see that character basically appear up on screen, and it's going to be the new final boss inside of Ataraxian. So there is a required AP in there for 350. Just be prepared for that, guys. Like, you know, it is what it is, but you know, so we're getting that now. Here goes a new, even Greater one. So we did get the introduction of a new 4th dream horse called Volterion. So Volterion is going to be a PvP, PvE specific acquisition method. It's going to not be the same as your normal path. So if you've been collecting all your horse gears and things like that, don't worry about it. Doesn't really make a difference. They're changing up the acquisition path for Volterion. Volterion is going to be tied to specific feats. So be prepared that you're going to have to be playing PvE and PvP. This is a good thing overall, in my opinion. I'm not like, too pissed off at them. They need a way to make players feel engaged in other content and not that they're just grinding inside PvP, and they want to reward PvP players who typically move the game forward in that regard. So along with this, they're also adding in the ancient anvil system to training, so that's really good. And then they played around with the ideas of once you have all 3 of the dream horses, you'll be able to fuse those dream horses, and that way they'll just, your usage of them will change dependent upon the situation. So if you're in the desert, it'll just change to Dene. If you're running on water, it'll then it'll be Dene. If you're trying to fly into the sky, it'll be Ardenaut, and if you're just running really fast, it'll be Doom. So here you can see some of the skills that they're basically using for Volterion. They did say that there's going to be a lot tied to you keeping the loyalty of that horse. How they're going to implement the systems for that and your guild dragging mount, I'm not exactly sure, but I think a lot of people are excited to see this 4th dream horse, especially with the idea now that we're going to be getting a mythical dream horse selector. That's nice overall. So fused dream horses added. Now they did go into some specific content updates once we got to about 2 minutes and 38 into the game. So inside the land of the morning light specifically, they talked about having the golden pig king and the additions of calamity 8, 9, and 10. 8 is going to be tied to 330 AP, and 9 and 10 are going to have 350 AP. The server buffer will remain inside that place, and then we'll have the golden pig king, which will allow the server to collect currency basically inside the game. So those are pretty good content updates. Now around 2:42 is where I got the most excited, and that was the update of new content areas inside the game, specifically the demon realm and how these are going to work. So pay attention to this, guys. Essentially, we're going to get 4 new locations. I think that with more of those over the year. When we go into the demon realm, the first person to defeat the stronghold inside that area will become the Idanya, or the lord of that area. The lord of that area is allowed to collect revenue from those adventuring, and you have to seek permission from that lord in order to adventure and farm in that area. Now, if anyone is unhappy with that lord, then you have the ability to challenge that lord for control and for the title of lord. Now, if you're not available to be tied to answer some of the challenges of becoming the lord of that area, then there will be a stand-in for you in the form of some type of NPC that's there to fight. Now, here was a really cool thing about this. I love this idea. It is quite interesting from the perspective that you consider this will add layers and layers to PvP and the PvE dynamic inside the game. Specifically, you're looking at these demon realm areas being continuous king of the hill battles, unless some player decides that they just are the best and they become the very best because they've grinded and they took the time to be the boss, and people just end up respecting that character is the king of the hill and they remain in power for the time that they have. I think this is a phenomenal area. I would love to see them implement this with other areas as well, so that way it could even be something to the degree where guilds have to respect that lord's power, and the lord could hire guilds and sub lieutenants and things like that to be defensive. I think this is a really cool idea. Now, they did talk about 4 of the different areas inside in this area, or 3 of them rather, excuse me, in the area, and I think they all look good, and I'm really excited to see what the first part of the Demon Realm is. This is our closeout to Act 1 of Black Desert, and they talked about, the extension of this Act 2 being another 10 years into the future. So the plans for Black Desert are bountiful, and they are there. So I'm really looking forward to what that looks like overall. So around 2:48, we did get into what is to come around January 9th, which is the Winter Festival event, which will be over by the Mount of Eternal Winter. So over here, snowboarding in the Mountain of Eternal Winter. Get ready for that. And then at 250, we got to see the new Winter Festival outfits. So some of you are probably going to be really happy about it. Some of you probably not. I noticed that there seems to be like an online board where people are just pissed whenever we get something modern looking inside Black Desert. Like it just doesn't fit with the universe. I don't necessarily mind it, you know, as long as it doesn't get too cartoony. But they did introduce the Noonbora set, and I think everybody is going to like these, specifically because if you notice the snowboards, they're very thematic to the Noonbora set. So you can see the Winter Festival items that are going to be coming, and this should happen around January 9th is what they said. So those are all the outfits and the sets and the theme boards that are basically coming. Now, after this, we spent the last 16 minutes on stage with the fellows going over the rewards that were coming for the 10-year anniversary. So as a recap, the Black Spirit Fairy customization coupon, the friend title, the January 16th 14-day trial with the yellow Dragon Mount Duskwing, the weapon exchange coupons, the Marnie Fuels, and the 10th anniversary travel kit. The J Scrolls times 10, 10,000 Cronstones, and Advice of Vox times 200 and times 250. Jay's Hammers of Loyalty, at least 4 of them. The Sovereign and Karazad exclusive hammers, the special login rewards, which also includes the J Hammers, 2 mythical sensors, 4 outfits, the Advice of Vox from 150 to 190, and then a tier 10 Dream Horse mythical selection box. Remember, guys, use code GRATEFUL10years. That's GRATEFULTENYEARS inside your redeem coupon, so that way you can have access to some of those items now, and the rest will roll out from now to January 16th. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. That was quite a lot to get through. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section about 10 years of Black Desert. Is this something to bring you back in? If you've left Black Desert, or, you know, for things like Throne and Liberty or other games, let me know overall. I know there's a big thing where we're looking for some new, you know, some player interest and making sure that the game is able to last the next 10 years of Black Desert. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Until next time, guys, like and subscribe. Peace.